All right, welcome to the Okanagan Garden Report this week. And today, being such a beautiful day here in February, we thought we'd show you some pruning because this is pruning season. It's one of the best times of year to prune. We're looking at a peach tree right here, and we want to give you some good pointers on peach tree pruning. Peaches want to be pruned pretty heavily. They like to have a lot of material removed every year. And it's almost like the more you remove, the better. But you have to remember that all these little fuzzy buds that are coming on here, these are bloom buds. And they're flowering on growth from last year. So all this green colored branch growth, and sometimes it's even golden color, that's all last year's growth. So we want to maintain that and keep it, and keep those safe. So we know wherever we see a fuzzy bud, that's where fruit's going to come. So a real important point is that if your fruit comes on the tip of a branch, that's not going to be really useful, because obviously when you get a great big peach on there, it's going to hang down. So what you want to do is keep the stockier, shorter branches. They're going to be much better for your just for supporting the fruit itself. So now we're going to have a look down this branch, and one thing we do with peaches and other fruit trees too is we often remove the vertical growth. So we want to maintain branches that grow horizontally because they're more valuable, and we want to remove the shoots that grow upright. So if you just have a look here, we'll see that we can go down this branch and just clip off these branches that are all growing vertically on the top of this branch here. So you see we're starting to get that flattened off on the top, and even little twigs and things up in here. This is quite a messy tree. It's got a lot of crazy branches everywhere, and that's why we wanted to use it as an example. But I'm just going to go through and keep removing even big suckers like this one up here. Like there's a side shoot here, but side or horizontal branches are valuable, and vertical branches are not so valuable. So we take that one out. So one of the issues that we see with homeowners typically is that homeowners go out to prune their trees. They're not really sure what to keep or what to throw away, and or what to cut off. And so what they do is they just go out and start snipping here and there. So they don't really have a plan. One of the things that happens is they'll typically trim off all the stuff they can reach, which is kind of funny, because if you think about it, all the stuff you can reach is most valuable. That's the easiest picking. All the stuff you can't reach has very little value at all. So really you want to be taking off all the stuff you can't reach, or a lot of it that's growing, especially if it's growing straight up off the tops of your trees, and keep all that beautiful low horizontal branching, because that's the best fruit producing branches. It's easiest to pick, easiest to care for, easiest to thin the fruit. It's just the way to go. So so that's basically the general rule of thumb here on these peach trees too. The other thing that we do is we actually will shorten the length of them, again, because if a branch is too long, the fruit's going to hang down low. So we can definitely go along and shorten those up, because we're going to get fruit on every one of these little tiny buds. What's the point in having literally hundreds and hundreds of pieces of fruit? You know, if you may want to have maybe a ton of fruit, but you may not want 2 or 3 tons of fruit. Because the thing with peaches is they do really produce well. But the key again is any growth that grew last year will fruit this year. So that's it for today. Hopefully you learned something, and thanks for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next week.